These videos are strictly only for entertainment and educational purposes. I do not encourage or endorse to any of the behaviors of the people I am talking about in my videos. Blair Adams became convinced that someone was after him just before he fled his home in Canada in July 1996. Then he mysteriously turned up dead in a Tennessee parking lot just a few days later. To his family and friends in British Columbia, Canada, Adams wasn't himself, acting oddly and displaying paranoid behavior. On Friday, July 5, 1996, Adams withdrew almost all the cash from his bank account and the entire contents of his safety deposit box. Believing someone wanted him dead, Adams fled to the United States. Adams decided to enter the U.S. that day by attempting to drive onto a ferry from Victoria to Seattle. But he was denied entry by immigration officials for traveling with large amounts of cash and valuables, and for lying about his criminal history over drug and assault offenses. Avoiding his own apartment, Adams left his mother's home on July 8th, and 3 days later, the premonitions of his own death came true on a construction site thousands of miles away. Robert Dennis Blair Adams was born on December 28, 1964, and lived in Surrey, British Columbia. He worked as a foreman for his stepfather's construction company, and in late 1995, he returned from a construction project in Frankfurt, Germany, where he had met his girlfriend. Adams' girlfriend described him as a gentleman, but another German colleague described him as abrasive and confrontational, who sometimes got into fights. By the summer of 1996, everyone could see something was wrong. Adams had battled alcoholism in the past, and was 2 years sober at this point, but had stopped attending his Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, according to the Surrey leader. Exhibiting strange behavior, Adams started leaving his construction job site unlocked, then abruptly quit without collecting his paycheck. He told his German girlfriend that he feared violence from former colleagues who had recently returned from Germany, and told his mother someone was spreading rumors about him, but never elaborated as to why. At any rate, by early July 1996, Blair Adams believed that someone wanted to kill him. Having withdrawn his cash and valuables, Adams paid nearly $1,700 in Canadian cash to a travel agency for a round-trip flight to Frankfurt. But his German girlfriend wasn't expecting a visit. In line then with his recent erratic behavior, Adams requested a refund the very same day, saying the person he was going to visit had gotten sick. Just before dawn the following morning, Adams attempted to walk across the Pacific Highway, point of entry connecting Surrey with Blaine. Immigration officials, however, saw small scratches on Adams' hands and legs, and he matched the description of a suspected car thief. A blue car had been stolen from Vancouver and located near the point Adams was attempting to cross, but the police had no evidence to hold him, so Adams was released back into Canada, according to Knox News. Determined to flee, Adams drove his actual car to Vancouver Airport, switching it out for a Nissan Altima rental, and finally made it across the border on his third attempt. Once at the airport in Seattle, Adams bought an overnight one-way flight to Washington, D.C., when a round-trip ticket would have cost half the price. Arriving in D.C. on July 10th, Adams immediately rented a Toyota Camry, beginning a 7-hour drive to Knoxville, Tennessee. Adams entered Tennessee around 5:30 p.m., stopping at a gas station in the area of Strawberry Plains Pike, where his car wouldn't start because he was using the wrong key. Adams had used the key from his previous Nissan rental car, and not the current Toyota he was driving. And bizarrely, he refused to check his pockets for the correct key, despite a repair service driver telling him, "If you drove this thing up here, you gotta have another key in your pockets." Dropping Adams off at the Fairfield Inn Hotel, while his car was towed to an auto repair shop, the driver later told detectives that Adams didn't appear to be on drugs, but his mind wasn't functioning correctly for some reason. In the hotel lobby, surveillance video showed Adams entering and exiting 5 times within 40 minutes, before paying $100 in cash for a room, then leaving without grabbing his change. Adams appeared particularly agitated and paranoid to the desk clerk, as if he was expecting someone who wasn't there, and it was later discovered he never even entered his room. Early the following morning, July 11th, Adams' body was discovered on the site of a hotel under construction across the highway from Adams' hotel. At first, two construction workers thought Adams was a homeless man who had slept at the site, before seeing all the cash scattered around him. Thousands of dollars in Canadian, German, and American currency were lying around his body and in the pockets of his jeans. Further, a leather fanny pack laid unzipped nearby, containing nearly 5 ounces of gold bars, gold and platinum coins, and jewelry. The key for his rented Toyota, which Adams previously claimed he couldn't find, was also lying nearby, along with his hotel card, shoes, and socks. Adams' pants had been removed, like somebody else pulled them down for him, a lieutenant from the Major Crimes Unit said. One of Adams' shoes was under his head like a pillow, as if he put it there as he laid there dying. The autopsy found Adams was beaten to death, dying of septic shock from a stomach rupture according to the Toronto Sun, and tufts of his hair were missing. Investigators only discovered one piece of forensic evidence, one long strand of hair clutched in Adams' hand. Although certain injuries indicated Adams may have been sexually assaulted, there was no DNA evidence confirming it, and no murder weapon was ever found. With no witnesses, a security guard from another business came closest, reporting that he heard a scream at 3:30 a.m., but claiming it sounded like a woman. The only theory investigators had to go on was a sex act turned deadly, as a truck stop near the crime scene, and Adams's hotel was a known location for prostitution at the time. Adams had eaten somewhere that night, as he died with lettuce, meat, and shrimp still in his stomach. He had no drugs or alcohol in his system, and although his behavior indicated otherwise, he was never diagnosed with any mental illness. A duffel bag found near Adams' body, containing a plane ticket, and rental car receipts allowed investigators to piece together his movements, which had come to a mysterious end thousands of miles from home. The reasons for Adams's death is still unknown to this day. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and also subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye.